Hi, in today's video I'm going to be covering unicast, which is a new script I've written that allows you to stream a local file, a web URL or a playlist to an iPad running VLC. And I'll show you how this works. This is the script we have here, and basically it takes a couple of options. The -L option for a local file, -U for a web URL, or -P for a playlist. So what I'm going to do is actually come across to the terminal and show you unicast-h. So you can see here -L local file, -U single URL, -P playlist URL. So what I'm going to do is show you how to get this working and how it looks on the iPad. So what I'm going to do first of all is play you a recording of setting up VLC on the iPad to access the stream. So what I have here is the video. So what we're going to do is email ourselves a unicast.m3u file which has got the playlist in it, and we're going to save it to the files and put it in the VLC directory here. So we're going to save that into the VLC directory, and then we're going to come out into VLC, and what you'll see is the playlist here. And if we go into the playlist, you'll actually see it's got the local IP address and port of the stream. You can also go to Browse, Open Network Stream, and put in the stream manually like this. Okay, so that's how you get the stream location set up in VLC two ways, either using a playlist file or by manually inputting the stream. So what I'm going to do is take you through the three different options, which are playing a local file, playing a web URL and a playlist, and describe the difference in how VLC handles stuff. So what I'm going to do first of all is actually stream Big Buck Bunny to the iPad. So I'm going to run unicast-L Big Buck Bunny, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up recording on the iPad. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to start streaming, and I'm going to open up on the iPad. So just bear with me while I do this. I'm going to open up on the iPad, and then I'll play you the video, and I'm going to come in here and select the playlist and then select the stream, and what you'll see, you can hear it playing in the background, but what I'm going to do is actually play the video once it's recorded so you can see in VLC. So I'll let this just run for a minute. Okay, and I'm going to stop that. Okay, once I've stopped it, what you'll see is stop the recording. Okay, and come across, and what I've done is actually mounted the iPad on Linux so that I've got access to the photo directory so I can instantly play that file. So if I run img 005, I'll show you what the process is for starting the stream on VLC. So I started the stream, so what you notice, if I scroll back up here, when I started the script unicast-L and the local file, after a second what it does is it says stream ready, and that's your cue to open VLC and start the playlist. So this is what it looked like on VLC. So when it said stream ready, I came into VLC. Okay, went into the playlist unicast.m3u, then selected the stream. And then Big Buck Bunny comes up like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually go through the same process, but then I'm going to mirror the iPad's desktop screen rather to my desktop. So I have UX Play installed to actually mirror the screen. So hang on a second, let me get this set up. So UX Play, and start this up. UX Play. Okay, so now we've actually got the this set up. Can I switch? Yep. Okay. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open VLC here. Now, what happens is, you see, as I open VLC, it goes blank, and that's because VLC, unlike other apps, will stream the video without displaying it on the iPad screen. So what I'm going to do is actually run this command again, and then switch across and show you the desktop mirrored. So I'm now going to switch across here into VLC, and it'll go black, and I'll start playing it, and it's going to start streaming to the desktop. So what you see here is we're streaming from the laptop to the iPad, and then mirroring the iPad back to the computer. So I'll quit that now. So when I stop in VLC, it automatically, if I just stop the mirroring, okay, and I quit that. Okay, so that was me streaming a local file, opening VLC, and receiving the stream. So the way that this script works, if I come back to the script, is first of all we have the script usage, and I'll come through this note when we get to the playlist section. So what we have here is the functions, one stream and two streams. So the reason for this is you have one stream which is a video that contains both a audio and video track, and then you have two streams where you're using a web URL like a YouTube URL, which uses dash, and there's separate audio and video streams. And what the script does is it takes the audio and video streams and basically maps them together so that it can be played in VLC. And what we have down here is the get ops. So these are the options. So L for local, U for a web URL, and P for a playlist. And what you'll see here under each of these get options is the actual code. So what we're doing for the local file is we're actually checking the codecs that are used by the local file. So if the local file is an H.264 AAC video, it just uses stream copy without re-encoding to stream the video to the iPad. However, if it is an H.264 AAC, it will re-encode the video and then stream it so that it will play on VLC. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is show you the web URL. So what I'm going to do is actually use some Blender videos for this, because they're open source and there's no copyright issues. So what I'm going to do is use the -u option and play a single video and stream it to VLC, and then I'll show you how you can stream the entire playlist to VLC, and how there's a slight gotcha with how VLC actually operates when playing a playlist. So what I'm going to do is select charge, and I'm going to come across and copy the URL and run unicast-h, remind myself. So we use the -u option for a single URL. So what this does is this uses yt-dlp with the no playlist option, so that if you copy a URL from a playlist, it will only play that single video and not the entire playlist. Whereas the -p option is for when you want to play the whole playlist. So we'll run unicast -u, put that in, and what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to record I'm going to record the iPad's desktop and then play you the recording, and then I will mirror the desktop and show you the video as well. So let me just get this set up. So it's going to say fetching single stream. When it's ready, it's going to kick in and say ready, stream ready. So I'm going to come across to VLC. Again, open the playlist. You can also come to browse and select that, but it's easier with the playlist. Come in here. What this is, it's going to start streaming. And I think there's a way I can actually remove a lot of the output in the terminal. As you can see here, I'm getting a lot of output in here. I think I can change the output so that it uses, it's less spammy. So I'm just going to stop that recording. Stop, come out of there. You can see as I stopped in VLC, panic, I think I want fatal. Let me just change this to fatal. I think that should fix all the spamming. Right, so I've saved that. So what I'm going to do is come across back into here and play that video. MG006 MP4. And this is, once the stream was ready, I open VLC. Well, you'll get the gist. Okay. So stream was ready. I came into VLC. Just give it a second. VLC. Yeah. So you can either use the playlist or open the network stream. You come into the playlist, select the video, and you'll see it starts up instantly. Okay, and here's charge. Good little video actually, got some good action stuff in this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quit that. And now I'm going to do the same thing but actually stream the video, and we'll see if the fatal option that I just added makes the terminal less spammy. So what I need to do is run UX play, set up mirroring, start mirroring. Okay, we've got the mirroring there. Okay, so I say fetching single stream. When it's ready, it's going to say ready, stream ready. So what I'm going to do is switch across here, come back in, and I'm selecting stream. Okay, and now it's mirroring, it's displaying the video. The video is being streamed from the URL from the local computer to the iPad, and then we're streaming the video back to this computer using UX Play. And I'll take you through some of the notes on UX Play, on how it works. And one of these techniques is actually quite useful because it allows you to stream stuff to a machine with an AirPlay receiver. So let me just stop that. Come out. Okay, turn off screen mirroring. And I should have checked if that was less spammy. No, it's still a bit spammy there. I have to see what that issue is. Sometimes you just get a lot of output with ffmpeg when you're actually sort of streaming stuff. So that was a single URL. Okay, so nice and easy. I can demo that again. let's have another one, agent 327. And what I'll do is I'll just start up UX Play again and mirror the desktop. Okay, so got that set up. Unicast -u. Okay, fetching single stream. So this takes a couple of seconds to kick in because it's using yt-dlp in the back end, which has a couple of seconds delay. So we can see here stream ready. So what I'm going to do is go into VLC. As soon as I go into VLC, you'll get a black screen because that's the way VLC works when you're doing mirroring. It doesn't display the video or the contents of VLC, the UI, while you're actually mirroring. It just actually streams the video. So I'll come back in here, press the stream, it's going to kick in instantly. Here's Blender Animation Studio, Agent 327.
This is 327. I'm going in.
And I'm just going to switch back here, and you can see, yeah, even with the fatal, it's still fatal option. It still outputs a lot of data. So I'll have to see if there's any way around that before I give you the link to the script. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually just press X on VLC, come out of VLC, stop the mirroring. Okay, and kill that. Okay, so that is streaming a local file and a remote web URL. And what you'll notice in the script is we actually only have two functions, one stream and two stream, and these are used by all the options, the -L for local, -U for a web URL, and -P for a playlist. And if I come through here, so we got the -L, I just showed you the local option. We got the -U, so the -L checks the local file using ffmpeg, as I said, and checks if the codecs are correct to stream, and if not, re-encodes. The -U option, what it does is it gets the IM file. So the IM file is the URL you pass to the -U option. And what you'll see here is what it does is it uses yt-dlp, no warnings, best video, best audio. And what it does is it gets a H.264 AAC stream, so we don't actually have to re-encode it. We get the URL with the -G option and use --no playlist, so that even if you select a video in a playlist, it only plays the single file. What it then does is basically it checks how many streams it's got, if it's a single stream or an audio and video stream. And if it's a single stream, it uses the one stream function. If it's two streams, it uses the two stream function, okay, which are up here. So the one stream option checks the video and audio codecs and then falls back to copying, as you can see here. So it doesn't have to re-encode stuff. Then it uses tune latency and listen one. So this is what starts the ffmpeg server. And we output this using with the F option and mpeg ts, which is the container format. And we're listening on 0008080, which is the port that you need open. If you want to use another port, you can just edit the script and change the port here. And the two stream option, what it does is it uses awk to get the video and audio URLs and then actually maps them back together into a single stream, which it then streams. So this will work across your network basically, but it only plays, I believe it only allows one connection at a time. I have done multicasting before, but it's a bit flaky. So this is a better option, and it's got no latency between the iPad and the streamer. It's pretty much instantaneous once it's kicked in. So what I'm going to do is actually show you the playlist option and describe how this works. So what we have here is the playlist of the Blender videos. We'll tee up. And what I want to go through is how VLC handles this. So we're not actually streaming a entire playlist. We're streaming an entire playlist to VLC, but the way that we have to do it is by getting the playlist and then getting the URL for each item in the playlist. And with VLC, what you have to do is, after a video is finished, you actually have to click play on the iPad to play the next item in the stream. There isn't a way around that, unfortunately. That's just the way VLC is, and it can't directly play a YouTube playlist. So what I'm going to do is come through and unicast -p for playlist. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll start recording on the iPad and show you the interface, and actually also how you can skip ahead to the next playlist item. So what I'm going to do here is start recording. Okay, so this is going to say loading playlist, fetching, and it's giving you the ID of the video it's fetching. Okay, stream ready. I'm going to come into VLC and click the playlist. And what it's going to do is actually start playing this. Now, one thing to note is when you're actually streaming, you can't jump ahead in the stream on the iPad. Okay. So what I'm actually going to do is leave this running. So this is 3 minutes. Have I got any shorter ones I could have done? Okay, there's actually a shorter one I can do, the Daily Dweebs. Let me just stop this. Bugger. Hang on a sec. Let me stop that recording and redo it again. Because okay. What I want to show you is how VLC works with the playlist. So let me just do that recording again. Right, so unicast playlist. Going to come in here, start this up. It's going to start playing. Okay. So what I'm actually going to do to show you how you advance to the next item is I'm going to press Control-C in the terminal once, and what that's going to do is that's going to stop the current stream and stop it playing on the iPad. And what you'll notice is it's saying loading next video in playlist, fetching, stream ready. And what I'm doing now is I'm in VLC and I'm going to press play again. And what you'll see is it's actually loading up the next item in the playlist. So every time the video stops streaming on the computer, you actually have to press play again in VLC. So I'm just going to stop that and show you what I mean. Okay, stop recording. And then what I'll do is I'll actually stream it. So you can see now it's saying stream ready again. So what I need to do is press Control-C twice to actually kill the script. And the reason for this is because we want to be able to play the next stream and have it wait till you press play on the iPad so that it actually initiates playback on the iPad. So what I'm going to do is actually come across here and run the latest video to show you. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. What I'm showing you here, once this gets started, is the stream was ready. I pressed play. And I just need to wait till it stops, and you'll see me press play again. So what I did on the computer is I pressed Control C to actually stop the stream. And what that does is that stops playback on VLC. And okay, I don't know if it will actually show me clicking. Okay, now you see that's coming up, and I press play again. And what it's doing is it's going on to the next video. Okay, so maybe that sort of doesn't make sense. Let me stream it. Let me mirror the desktop, mirror the iPad. Okay, hang on. Sorry about this convoluted way, but it's the best way I can think of actually demoing this. So I'm going to start UX Play, mirror the iPad, and what I'm going to do is actually come back and do the same thing, and hopefully I'll be able to show you how this actually works when I kill a stream to advance to the next playlist item and then have to press play again. So I'm going to press this. When it's ready, it's going to say stream ready. Okay. So what I'm going to do now here is switch across to VLC. You can't see the screen, but I'm pressing the playlist link, and this is going to start playing in a second. Okay. So you can now see that it's playing this stream. So if I come across to the terminal, press Control C, what you see is it stopped, okay? And now you'll see here in the terminal it's saying stream ready. So what I need to do is come across into VLC, and what I'm doing is just pressing in the middle of the screen till I get the playback button come up and pressing play. And what you'll see is it's going to now play the next video. So I couldn't actually capture the play button coming up, so you can see it's now playing the next video. Right, as I said, you can't jump ahead in the stream because it's streaming, so it's like a live thing. So if I come back across to the terminal, press Control C again, what you'll see is it's stopped. Now let me just come back here, and what's happened on VLC is the let me see if I can actually stop doing this. Let me, yeah, okay, hang on a sec. Sometimes these swipe gestures on the iPad are a bit of a pain. Okay, stop mirroring. Okay, and what I'm going to do is actually do a screen recording. Come back into VLC. And what you'll see in VLC is the video player has stopped. If I come back here, you can see it's still saying stream ready. Okay, so ffmpeg is waiting for us to press play again. So because it's come out of the video, what I need to do is just come back and click the playlist item again, and it will start playing. Now I'm going to stop that, come back, stop that, okay, and show you what I mean. Okay. Alright, so here's VLC. So what happened was the player disappeared, so it will just dump us straight back into the playlist section, and all we have to do is click the playlist link again. Okay, so I'll click the playlist link, and it started playing again. Okay, and so there's the next video. Right, you can still see it's saying stream waiting, stream ready. So the way that this works is it will keep going through the entire playlist, and for each item in the playlist, when the video is finished playing or you've pressed Control C, you need to press play again in VLC. That's just the way VLC works with this technique, and there isn't actually a way around that to play an entire playlist without any user interaction. So if I come back into the mirroring, let me come back into the mirroring, UX play, start the mirroring again. Okay, so we got the stream waiting here. So all I need to do is actually come into VLC and press on the playlist link again. I'll just press on the playlist link again here, and what it's going to do is it's going to now start playing the next video. And as soon as I stop playback in VLC, you can see it's gone black. Okay, now it's saying stream ready again, and because I've pressed the little X button in VLC, it's dumped me back into the user interface, and what I just need to do is press the playlist link again, or the open network stream. So if I press that again and switch back, it's going to start playing the next video. Not sure what this one is actually. Looks pretty cool though. So again, what we're doing here is we're streaming from the local computer to the network, and we're receiving the stream with the iPad, and we're then mirroring the iPad screen with VLC. We're not actually mirroring it, we're actually, with VLC, you're actually sending the stream to the AirPlay receiver without it being displayed on the iPad screen, which the advantage of that is it's a bit like you're handing someone a message and they're just relaying it to a third person. So if I just stop this now, so okay, turn off screen mirroring. Right, so VLC on the iPad works differently than the YouTube app, which actually displays the video on the screen and mirrors it at the same time. And the disadvantage of that is that that's going to reduce the battery a lot. Using this method with VLC, what it's doing is it's just relaying the stream to the AirPlay receiver. So this is quite handy if you want to set up a way to stream to your TV or something like that. So you can see here it's now saying stream ready. So what I need to do to kill the script, if I just run Control C once, it will actually then load the next item in the playlist. You can see, to kill the script completely, we run Control C twice, and that stops the stream. So there we go. We've got 3 ways to actually send stuff to the iPad. A local file, a web URL, and a playlist. So let me just recap the playlist setup again. So as I said, there's 2 ways you can receive the stream on VLC. Okay, let me just bring this back up. So what you can do is you can edit the actually let me just come across to the desktop and show you the M3U file. Okay, so this is the M3U file, which I'll put a link to under the video. And basically all you need to do is change your the IP address. So this is the IP address of the computer running VLC, and what we're doing is we're using port 8080 in the script, so you will need to have that port open. If you want to use another port, you can just edit the script and change the port in the two locations I'll show you. So if you want to change the port used, you can see here we've got two functions, one stream and two stream. What you can see here is 8080 and 8080 down here, so you can just change those ports if you want to. And this is the unicast stream. This is the unicast M3U file. So what we did was basically you just send it to yourself or transfer it whatever way you want, and then click on it, save to files. The file picker comes up, and what you'll see is you need to select on my iPad, and you should see VLC. That's one thing I did remember actually offhand. You need to set VLC's local access in the privacy settings. So I'll just show you that in a second. But what you do is you select on my iPad, and then you select the VLC folder, and you just click save. And then you can come into VLC up here, and you'll see that it comes up in the playlists folder down here. And what we do is we just click on the unicast M3U file. Give it a second. And what you'll see here is this is the link. So this is showing you the IP address and port of the computer running the ffmpeg stream. And you can just click this and it will start the playback. You can also go to the browse. If you want to use an M3U, you can come to Browse, Open Network Stream. Okay, put in the stream here and then click Open Network Stream. Once you've done that, it will come up in this section here, so that you can just tap that to actually get to it. But to be honest, it's probably easier to use the playlist option to do this. So what I'm going to do now, while I remember it, is show you the privacy. Let me come across to the privacy and security. There is a section. Yeah, okay, right. Right, let me just start the stream up again. The mirroring. Okay. So what we need to do to actually allow VLC to receive the stream is actually you need to come into the settings. So come into the settings, privacy and security, and scroll down until you see local network. And what you'll see here is VLC. And by default, that will be toggled off. And if that is toggled off, you won't be able to receive the stream because it doesn't have local network access to receive it. So you need to toggle that on to actually be able to connect to the stream. That's a really important point. If you don't do that, it's just not going to work. Okay. So settings, scroll down, privacy and security, then scroll down to this section, local network, and toggle VLC on. Okay, I can stop that now. Stop mirroring. Okay. Right. So that's the gist of everything. Yeah, basically, I don't like ads. So I don't want to use the YouTube app, which is, you know, got a pre-roll for adverts on the iPad. I can show you that. Let's do the thingy again. UX Play. See if it'll let me. So if I come into YouTube, okay, let's pick this one, Magpie channel. See if it'll do the adverts. Yeah, sponsored. So every time you start a video, it's going to start saying that. Sponsored 1 or 2. And then finally it's going to kick in.
Welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Happy Friday.
There's Matty in his new studio. I believe the white lines are a sort of electronic field to zap any macrams that try and get in, so it sort of disintegrates them. That's my theory anyway. So I'll come out of that and stop mirroring and kill that again. So let's just have a brief recap over the 3 ways we can do this. What I'll do is I'll mirror the screen because it's just easier to demo. So as I said, I've got Big Black Bunny here, which is a H.264 AAC video, but it has what is it? It's got 6 audio streams. So what we do is we actually reduce that to 2 audio streams so that it can be played. Whereas the Duke Nukem video is a H.264 AAC video that doesn't need re-encoding. So what I can do is let's start the UX Play again and do the screen mirroring. And what I'm going to do is on the iPad, once the stream is ready, I'll come into VLC, go into the playlists section, you click the M3U file, and that then opens up and shows you the actual URL as I showed you for the stream, and you click that and it will start playing. So unicast -L, so -H for the help. Just got the 3 options: L for local file, -U for a single URL, -P for a playlist. So local Duke Nukem, and this will start. It'll say stream ready instantly. Stream ready. So what I do is I come into VLC, and what I'm doing is just clicking the button here, and you see bang straight away. Hi, in today's video, this is the advantage of this method is that it starts instantly. If I press X in VLC, come out, you can see it's now stopped in here. If I don't run unicast -L, Big Buck Bunny, stream ready, I just come back. Because I've exited, I just press the link again. And you can see this is starting instantly, even though we're actually re-encoding on the fly to fix the audio issue with this particular stream. It's got, you know, multi-audio where it's got 6 streams. See, that's kicking in instantly. Okay, so I can stop that. There's the X. Okay, stop that. So what I'll do now is okay, I'll play this one. So I'm going to play a single stream. So unicast -U. What I just want to mention is here, you can see the structure of the URL. So when you have a single URL in YouTube, it would end here at the U. You can see this has got and list. Okay, the 12th item in the list. Because we're using the --no playlist option with the -U option, what it will do is it will only play the video and not the entire playlist. So fetching single stream, you need to give it a couple of seconds to kick in and get the URL stream ready. Bang, I just click here. 1, 2, 3. Bang, you can see instant. And then say the advantage of this is with the YouTube streams, because it's getting the H.264 AAC stream, it's not having to actually re-encode anything. Okay, so I can now just stop that, and I'll try and see if there's a way to make this less spammy. But as I say, sometimes you just get that with a ffmpeg. It's not too much of an issue, but it'd be cleaner if we could get around it. So what I'm going to do now is select the entire playlist. So you can select the entire playlist, or if I select from here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the playlist starting here. What it should do is actually start playback from this section instead of the whole playlist. So you've got two options. You can either use the entire playlist and play from start, or you can actually select a item in the playlist and play on from that point. So unicast-p for playlist 30. Oh, I've got the... Okay, got that. So in VLC, I'm going to be in the playlist section, click the unicast.m3u. That opens up and shows you the IP and the port. So loading playlist, fetching. So it's fetching the URL. You can see it says stream ready, and let's just confirm which one did I select. IDX. Let's see if this works or if it starts from the beginning. It should start from that one, I think. Maybe wrong. No, wing it. Maybe I selected the wrong one. Okay, I think I may have selected the wrong one. Did I? Let me just go back and let's click Sintel. Was Wing It the first one? Yeah, no, Wing It was the first one. Okay, so my bad. It will actually start from the beginning of the playlist, as opposed to starting from here and going to here. But you have the option with the -u option with the script to play any single item in a playlist without playing the rest of it. So yeah, so we can either grab the URL from here or sort of grab the URL, from up here. Okay, let me just stop that. Control C twice. Okay, we can just move the and index and just play the whole playlist. Okay, so fetching. When it's ready, it's going to say stream ready. So I'll come across here. You can see it's now streaming the first video, Wing It. Again, if I want to move on to the next video, Control C once. You can see here it's loading next item, next video in playlist, stream ready. So what I need to do in VLC is actually tap the center of the screen to bring up the controls, and then press the play button. And what you'll see is it's now playing the next video. Control C once. That stopped. Okay, sometimes what happens is when you stop it, the VLC player will go back to the playlist section. So all you need to do is actually click the playlist thing again, and it will start playing. So that's the next video in the playlist setup.
Hello, Mr. Snow.
Okay, So I can stop that. I'll stop that. Come out here, turn off screen sharing, screen mirroring rather. Kill that. And then what I need to do, as I said, ffmpeg is still waiting for you to play the next one. If you just press Ctrl C once, it'll move on to the next item in the playlist. So press Ctrl C twice. That kills the scripts and stops the streaming. So what I'll do is actually come across through the script. So as I said, up at the top, what we have is the name of the script, unicast. And this is the note. So when using the -P playlist option, press Ctrl C once to move on to the next item in the playlist. You have to press play again in VLC on the iPad to play the video, and press Ctrl C twice to stop the script when using the -P option. So I hope that makes sense. So what we have here is the script usage. So when you run unicast without any options, it'll say wrong number of arguments and actually print out the script usage. Or if you press -H, it will display the script usage here. So unicast -L for the local file, -U for a single URL, or -P for a playlist. And what we have here is this is the bit that shows the wrong number of arguments. So if the script is run without any options, it will print out the help. So what we've got here is the two functions. So first of all, we've got the one stream function. I'll have to see if there's a way to make this less spammy. I'll ask Gemini or something. So we've got hide banner stats. Fatal should actually stop it showing multiple lines of text and allow you just to have a single line of text when it's streaming, but ffmpeg can sort of be a bit noisy. Okay, so what we've got here is we got the I is the URL. So this is the actual URL that you've passed to the function. And what you'll see here is vprams and then codec v copy. And what this is a fallback. So in the get op options, what it does is it actually checks the format of the video for local files. So as I said, if the local file isn't H.264 AAC, it will re-encode it. But if it is H.264 AAC, what it will do is it will fall back to stream copy. So it will copy the video codec and the audio codec. And then it uses tune zero latency, which reduces the latency, as the name suggests, on the stream. And then we have this -listen1, and this was what sets up ffmpeg as a server to serve the streams up. Then what we have here is the -ffmpeg ts. So what this is doing is it's encapsulating the audio and video streams in an mpeg ts container, and what you can see here is it's making it available on the local network. So you can see here 000 and then :8080, which is the port that we're using. So remember, you do need to open that port to be able to access the stream. And then what we have here for the two streams is we've got two variables, video URL and audio URL. And what it does is it echoes the URL and uses awk, because when you have dash streams, what you have is separate audio and video streams. And what we're doing is we're actually checking that by the new line character. So they'll be separated by a new line. The first will be the video stream, followed by the audio stream. So we can capture those two streams separately. Then what we do is we use ffmpeg. And you can see here we've got -i video URL and -i audio URL, which are these two variables here. And again, what it does is it checks the the stream and falls back to stream copy with video copy and audio copy. Then we use tune zero latency, and this is the important part for two streams. We map the two streams together because a lot of players can't play the two separate things. Like MPV can, but there's other players that actually can't. So what we're doing is we're taking those two stream URLs, putting them together, and then actually using the server with listen1 format mpeg ts and starting the stream. So then what we got here, going through the code, this is the get options. So get ops is what shows up when you use the script with the -l for local, -u for a single URL, or -p for the playlist. So for the single URL, for the local URL, we actually get the in file. We check the audio codec, the video codec, and the channels. As I said, Big Buck Bunny has multiple audio channels, like surround sound, and things like VLC on the iPad can't play that. So if it's got multiple audio channels, what we actually do is we set it to just two channels, just a stereo. So we check the video codec, see if it's H.264. We check the audio codec, check if it's AAC. Then we check the number of audio channels. And what we do is we actually use this bit of logic here to then construct the command that's passed to the function. So you can see here, it's because this is a local file, a local video. It is only going to have it's only going to need to use the one stream function, which is a video file with an audio and video track together. So what it does is it goes through this logic, as I said, then it runs the one stream function up here. Okay, and that's what streams it. The next one is the -u option here. So this is the option that is used with a single video stream, video URL. So what this does is this uses yt-dlp, which you'll need to have installed. So you need to have yt-dlp and Dino installed. What it does is it gets the best video and audio codecs that are H.264 AAC. And you can see the -g option gets the URL, and we use the no playlist option so that even if you select a URL like this, which is got and list in it, it's only going to play that video. What we then do is we echo the URL and count the number of lines using WC. So what this does is this is a way to check if it's a single stream where it's just got the video and audio in a single stream, or if in which case this would return 1. If it's separate audio and video streams, like a dash stream, there would be 2 streams, the audio and the video. And then what we do is we actually set these variables here to use stream copy rather than re-encoding, and then we run the appropriate function. For the playlist option, we're kind of doing the same sort of thing. We're actually getting the stream with yt-dlp, flat playlist, print ID. You can see here what we've got is a actual loop for ID and video IDs. So the video IDs is the playlist URL. And so what it's doing is it's getting the playlist URL and it's looping through it and getting the URL for each item in the playlist. And again, it's getting the H.264 AAC stream, and checking if it's 1 or 2 streams, and then what it does is it passes it off to the appropriate function. So a note about this is a really good way to actually have an efficient script using getops, because the functions are directly run in the getops. As you can see here, this is kind of like, this is a case statement. So we got the case statement here with the logic for each of these playback methods: local, single URL, or playlist. And then we have 2 functions up here that get called by those options in the case statement. So it's a really efficient way of handling this. And another note is that we have to use ffmpeg ts for the streaming to VLC. That's the most efficient method. This won't work with Safari. Safari is very picky about how it handles sort of streams. You've got to have a move atom at the front, and it's got to have certain MIME types, and that would actually require running a proper web server to actually have those parameters properly set up so that it could be played with Safari. So that's why we're using VLC. So let me just come back to the important point in this. So important point is you have to allow, is it this one? No, or is it 8? Let me just check. Let me check if this is the no, I'm just going back to see the video where I showed you the privacy settings. No, it's 6. No, which one was it? Or I think I might have I demoed it. No, that's right. I actually streamed it. So let me just one more time, just to show you the security setting again that you need to have set up. Okay. So first thing you want to do before you set this up is come into System Preferences, come into Privacy and Security. Right, scroll down to this section where you see Local Network, and make sure you've got VLC ticked on. Okay, let me just stop the screen mirroring there. Okay, so that was the first thing you want to do. The next thing is actually setting up the stream in VLC, and as I said, there's 2 ways to do this. So what you can do is come into VLC. So what you can do is you can send yourself the unicast. That's what I look like. Pin the unicast file to yourself in a email. Click on the unicast.m3u and then select Save to Files. The file picker comes up. Go to On My iPad and you'll see VLC listed. And then you do Save. And then you come into VLC and you will see the playlist listed here. And then what you do is you can see this little arrow here. You click on that. Yeah, you click on that. There we go. And there you can see the contents of the M3U file. If I come into that again. So you just edit the M3U file and put in the IP address of the computer sending the stream with ffmpeg. There we go. And then you just click that. You run the scripts, and when it says stream ready, you just click that, and it will open up. And if you click the little, when the video is playing, if you click the little X in the top hand corner to stop the stream, it will dump you back to this page, and all you need to do is when you're ready to play the next video, just click that again. The other way that you can set up the stream if you don't want to send yourself an M3U file is come to the browse section, open network stream, and then put in the actual location of the stream here and do open network stream, and that will open it. And once you've done that, it will actually save it here as well, so you can use this section as well. Okay. So, bit of a long one to get through, but I wanted to show you the 3 different methods that we've got to actually stream stuff to an iPad. You can also use this, it doesn't have to be an iPad, it can be another machine. So, let me see if I can do this with MPV. So, let's do charge, unicast -u, and what I'm going to do is just come across here, MPV, yt-dlp 38080. Okay. Oh, you bastard. Right. Fetching single stream. Stream ready. Okay, so this is, imagine this is another device on your network. Okay, so you can see here it's playing that stream. If I quit that, it stops there. So that's to show you that it doesn't have to just be an iPad. It could be another device on your network, computer, whatever. It'll basically work with anything. But it was just specifically, I wanted to get around an issue of VLC. I'm going to just have a quick shifty in the settings for VLC while I'm going away. I don't think there's anything in the settings that you actually need to change in VLC. No, there's no settings you need to actually save. So another thing while I'm on it, I should probably do a proper video on this, but UX Play. So I mirror the screen using UX Play. So I'll show you Debian and then NixOS. So on Debian, what you need to do is install GStreamer VAPI. I'm using, should have UX Play listed there as well. Okay, so on Debian, to set up UX Play, install GStreamer, VAPI, Intel Media, VA Driver, non-free, and UX Play. And that's the setup I've got on a MacBook Pro 2015 that's got Intel. Okay, I'll show you Nvidia as well. So you set that up, and what you can do after you've installed that is you can actually run the command like this. So this is for Wayland, so video device 264, video sync, Wayland sync, FS for full screen, vsync no, reset 0, -P. The -P is to use the default legacy ports, but rather than actually typing that out every time you want to do screen mirroring, what you can do is actually create a config file in .config uxplayrc and put all those options in the configuration file so that you only have to run uxplay and it will actually use all of those options instead of you having to type them all out like that. So that's on Debian, and on Debian you don't actually have to open any ports. On NixOS, slightly which has a more restrictive firewall than GUFW. I installed USB mux. Some of this setup is actually also for how you can enter DFU mode to flash firmware onto an iPad. But we set up AVI, which is the local network discovery. And you can see here, environment system packages with PKG. And what I've got here is libmobile device and iFuse. That's how I mount the iPad to the Linux device. So that's how I can actually LSL mount. So that's how I can actually see the contents of the iPad on this device. And if I run DCMI 100 Apple, that is the location that the screen recordings on the iPad are actually saved to. So that's how I could record something on the iPad and have the iPad plugged into the computer and mounted, so that I could then play the video and capture it with OBS Studio. Okay, and these are the plugins that we needed to. We had UX Play and then the GST plugins, which are required for some sort of playback. And on NixOS, I did actually have to open quite a few ports to get this working. Okay, but I'll put links to all this under the video. And to actually mount the device using libmobile, what you do is you run iDevice pair, and that comes up with a little message on the iPad when it's plugged in saying, trust this computer. You tap trust and enter your password. Then sometimes you need to run it again, iDevice pair, and it should say success. What I then did was create a mount point in my home directory, make directory -p mount, and then I can mount the media folder using iFuse mount. And then to unmount it, I run. You can also mount a specific apps file system in the directory by getting the app ID. But you can just run iFuse mount and it'll mount the whole thing. And to unmount it, I run fuser mount -u mount. So if I've done fuser mount -u mount and then list the mount directory, you'll see it's empty. If I now run iFuse mount, you now see that the iPad is mounted. So this is really handy as well, because it allows you to easily get files back and forth onto the iPad without having to send themselves to you. But I just thought I'd mention those things if you're curious, and how I'd sort of mirrored the screen and mounted the iPad to actually sort of record stuff. So that's the unicast script. I'll see if there's any way to make it less chatty. Obviously, it's a shell script, so it won't work on Windows, but I could convert this to Rust to actually get it to work on Windows as well, if anyone's interested. But I'll have a look through this and see if there's any way I can make ffmpeg less noisy. So again, that's unicast. 3 options, should cover every base. Local file, single URL, playlist. And as I said, this allows you to stream to a single device on your network. You can't connect multiple devices to the stream, is my understanding and the way it works. But it's useful if you want to, ping a video across to another device without having to copy it across, or a web URL or a playlist. And it's especially useful for, an iPad, because you can stream a local file to your iPad and, sit there and watch it in bed, or a single URL or a whole playlist. But as I said, the issue with the playlist is every time the video in a playlist stops, you got to press play again. And there's just not a way around that, because we're not actually giving it an entire playlist. We're getting the entire playlist and then sending each video in the playlist to VLC. So what happens is it thinks it's just playing a single video. So when the video stops, you've got to press play again for each video in the playlist. And as I said, if you want to advance to the next video in the playlist, the easiest way to do that is actually just press Control-C once on the computer running ffmpeg, and it will jump to the next video, and you just press play again. So I hope that all makes sense and is of some use. But yeah, I just got an old iPad from my dad who got a new one, so I've just been playing around with it for a day or two, and got fed up with all the adverts on things like YouTube, and just wanted a way to bypass that. Another thing that you can do is actually you can use Invidious. So while I'm on this tip, I showed you in a previous video Podman Invidious. So I've got Invidious set up here, so I might as well show you this for Podman Invidious. Okay, so this is the compose.yaml file for Invidious, and I showed you how to get this set up in a previous video. And the important thing you need to do here is actually you need to set this to the ports here. You've got to have the port 3000 open, and you need to set this here to your LAN IP. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just run start Invidious. Okay, and that's going to start Invidious up. So invid, you bugger. I may be using another port. That should play. Why is that not playing? You know what it is? Because I'm using the old bookmark. 192.168.1.3. Okay, there we go. So we've got Invidious set up here. And what we can do is I'm going to show you how we can set this up on the iPad. So what I'm going to do is come across here, run UX play. All right. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can save this as a web app. Okay. This was my earlier tests. So I'm just going to put in the 3000. Okay, so we got Invidious running here. So what I can do is show you how you can save this as a web app. And the advantage of this is a front end for YouTube without any ads. So no more, playing ads 30 seconds before you can actually watch your video, or playing ads during the video. And so if I come across here, and we'll just select buggeration. Yeah. Okay, so maybe it needs updating. Let me just stop that. Okay, I don't know if the ports are conflicting with the AirPlay. Let me just have a quick look. 828. I don't think screen mirroring. Hang on, let me just have a look at my notes. See what is not working. No port conflict. The Invidious git pull origin master, maybe it just needs to be updated. It's already updated. Okay. Yeah. It may just be an error with Invidious, but I'll show you how you save it with as a web app. So just imagine it's working and it's not temporarily broken, because it may be an issue with YouTube's been updated and Invidious hasn't. But what I'm going to do is come across, click the little share button, and I think, is it view more? I think add to home screen. So yeah, so come down here, view more, add to home screen. We'll call it Invidious, and you can see here open as web app. Just click that. And now what we have on the desktop is the Invidious web app. So if I just open that up, you can see it's come up there, and share my content, demo it. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a bug with Invidious, unfortunately. It does happen. But imagine it was actually working. Then you would be able to play the video. So try it again. No. Try it on this one. No. Does law. Well, you know, you're going to get one thing that doesn't work in the demo. But it may be, it'll probably work again after I finish the video. But I just wanted to show you how you can actually save this as a web app. And once it's actually working, you can actually play videos without any ads on YouTube. Let me just try taking it down once more. Do you know what it might be? Podman, is it? Podman, let me just check. May need to be updated. See if I can update it and actually get it working. Update. Okay, Podman compose pull. Right. Just bear with me while I see how I can get this working, just to prove to you that it does actually work, because I don't know. I'm just like that. I don't like to get beaten by these things. So we're just going to run a Podman compose pull. And it may bring into life, hopefully. So that's the thing with some of these open source things like Invidious. You've got to make sure they're updated to get around the rolling cycle of YouTube. So we'll just update this and give it another bash and hopefully get it working. But I just wanted to show you another Podman compose up. All right. Okay, there we go. Try. Really? Okay. Let's try. See if we can fix this. Podman compose down. Podman compose up -D. All right. Come back to the main page, and it may just not work. That's weird. Yeah. Sod's Law. Podman PS. Healthy. Okay. Sometimes when you get up less than a second, what it means is there's an issue. 29 seconds ago. Nope. So looks like Invidious isn't working, because what happens is when it's saying up less than a second, it means it's something's failing and it's keep retrying. Let me just, I know what it is. I should run start Invidious. Right, okay, let's try that now. Yeah, there we go. Right, now let's see if the video works. Aha, there we go. Yeah, so you got to stick with these things, you know what I mean? So,
Yes, people.
okay, so that's working there. Right, we'll come back to the iPad. So again, what we did was we came to the iPad, put in the IP address. We did view more, save, add to home screen. Gave it a name. I think you can actually change the icon on some of these things, but make sure open as web app is open. Okay. All right, now final test, Invidious. So we've got Invidious there. I'm not actually logged in. I haven't set this up yet, but we'll play the video again. And actually what I'll do is I'll come across to YouTube and I'm going to show you the difference between YouTube and Invidious. Okay, let's try a yeah, the subscription apps. They just fixed it. Okay. Let's come back to Matty. Magpie Channel TV. And let me choose a previous one so that it plays the ads. Okay, you see ads. Yeah. Capitalism in action. Annoying, yeah. Skip ads, right.
Actually,
and then it starts playing. Very annoying. And this is one thing I wanted to show you about the screen mirroring is it's actually displaying this on the iPad, whereas in VLC it doesn't actually display on the iPad. No, there is also in here you see this cast option. The issue, you can just cast the audio and play the video on the iPad, but the problem is there's a hard-coded buffer of 2 seconds, which means the video is behind the audio by 2 seconds, so you need to use screen mirroring. But anyway, that's another thing. I want to show you Invidious, so we'll come into Invidious now, and we'll come into Rubinstein. Okay, there we go, and you can see we've got the little play button up here. Bang.
Newcastle United get a fantastic
no adverts
on Wednesday night.
So that is why you want to use Invidious. Coming to Rubinstein again. Okay, we can see all these videos here. So that's the advantage of Invidious. I just wanted to get it working just to prove to you, because you know I don't like things failing in a demo. But you can just run this with Podman on a local computer, and then you can have access to it on all your devices, other computers, mobile devices. Is particularly useful for mobile devices like iPads, whatnot, because there we go, Gordon's secret handshake. Secret contract, rather. Bang, instant.
Well, there you have it. Newcastle will play Barcelona.
Full screen.
Round of 16.
1080p. Absolutely perfect. So that's a really a great way of actually, if I logged in, I'd have my subscription showing up, but I haven't. Only got this iPad a day or two ago and haven't set up the iPad with Invidious, but because I wanted to actually demo it. So yeah, there we go. There's Adam P. And you can see this is being mirrored. Bang, straight away.
Adam P, and welcome back to more.
Okay, there we go. There's Invidious. Let me just come down here and close that and stop the mirroring. And just while I'm on all things iPad, what I want to do is also where was it? I can sort this by. Hang on. iOS. Okay. So I had an issue with the iPad where it wasn't actually accepting the password. My dad wiped the iPad before he gave it to me, but it wouldn't accept my Apple ID. After 6 hours of putting in the password, I kid you not, I had to wipe it. But the problem is you can't wipe the iPad without having it plugged into a computer, which has got to be a Mac or or a Windows computer. But you can do the same thing on Linux. Okay, so on NixOS, what you can do is you can use a Nix shell. So if you're on a another Linux distro, you'll be able to install the same packages, but they may be named slightly differently. Like I think lib mobile device is something like lib mobile device -6 or 1 or something on Debian. And we've got iDevice restore and USB muxt. So what you can actually do on Linux, on NixOS, is run nix shell -p lib mobile device iDevice restore USB mux, and that sets everything up, creates a shell with all those packages installed for you. And then what you do is once you're in that shell, what you do is you run doas USB mux d-f-v, and then what you do on NixOS, what you've got to do is run another Nix shell with the same command. If you're just on a regular Linux distro, you just like open a new terminal. But what you have to have is you have the, one terminal running USB mux, and then I entered the shell again. Put the iPad into recovery mode by pressing volume up and down, and hold the power button to see the cable come up. And then what I did was doas iDevice restore --erase --latest. You can replace doas with sudo. And what this will do is this will be prompted. You'll be prompted to download the firmware for your device. So what it will do is it'll print out something like this in the terminal. It'll say the following firmware is a company being signed for iPad 12-1 or whatever your device is, and it will say 1 build whatever, and you just press 1 to download the firmware. And what it will do is it will actually download 8.6 gig and start flashing the firmware onto the iPad. However, that was taking a really long time, really slow download speed. So what you can actually do is use ARIA2C to download the file and then flash it manually. So what you can do is, while it's actually running, you press Control-C to stop the download. And then you can see here, downloading firmware. So this was the URL of the IPSW file, okay? So what I did, because it was taking so long, I pressed Control-C, copied that URL, yeah, and then run ARIA2C-x16-s16, and then the URL in single quotes, and that downloaded the IPSW file, which is, as I said, 8.6 gig. And the reason, as I said, I did that was because it was like incredibly slow doing it manually. It was going like 0.1, 0.2. It was taking forever. So this will download in maybe about 2.5 hours, depending on your connection speed. Once you've got the IPSW file, you can actually manually flash the device using doas or sudo iDevice restore --erase and the path to the IPSW file. Once I'd done that and it flashed it in, it then accepted my iPad, my Apple password. I just thought I'd mention that because if you're on Linux and you come across that issue where it's just not accepting your password, even though you've typed it in multiple times, maybe that you need to actually erase the device. So I just wanted to do, as well as the unicast script, just a load of stuff that I've been experimenting with on the iPad, and how I actually got it set up. So I'll put links to all this under the video, and I know it's been a bit of a long one, but had a lot to get through. And as I said, I wanted to show you video side of things, how you can stream stuff from your device, either a local file, web URL, or a playlist, but also use Invidious to watch YouTube without any ads. And you can export your subscriptions from YouTube and then import them into Invidious, but to be honest, it's easier to do it manually. So yeah, that's how you can wipe the iPad. And here's Invidious again, and one last time, Invidious. Streaming the bang. So we got a nice web app icon here. So instead of using it in Safari like this, as I said, tap the share, view more, add to home screen, open as web app. Once you've done that, you've got a nice web app there. You can sign into it, and you got videos. So I won't play any other ones just in case of copyright, but again, coming up instantly, kicks in, plays instantly.
Yes, people. Welcome.
And if I just pause that, you can, where is the option there? Yeah, you can see you can select the resolution. It is set to 1080p, but sometimes it takes a second to actually click in and get.
Hope we're all still
Go on, you bastard. Okay, there you go. Now it's clear.
This inconsistent season with a big game under the light.
Yeah, and as I said, I believe this is some kind of electronic feel to Zap Macums, in case they try and gate crash the studio. You might remember that BBC thing years ago where they had protesters gate crash the studio and they actually sat on their heads during the news. It's designed to prevent that kind of thing. That's my theory. But anyway, that's a wrap. Covered a lot of stuff there, and I hope it's useful. I'll have a look at the unicast script, see if I can make it a little bit less chatty in the terminal. Because when it's streaming, as I said, you can see what I'm talking about here, stream ready, and it's actually outputting multiple lines of text to the terminal. In some scripts, it's actually possible just to have one line of text that is continuously updated. So I'll have to have a look and see if that's possible. And that's all for now. I'll put links to all this under the video and hope that's interesting and useful and whatever. So that's all for now, and I'll close it there.